So pretty much the other day, every single Spirit Halloween animatronic for 2025 got leaked, and overall, I've got to say this year is looking awesome from them. They've got so many cool looking animatronics, I can't wait to see what these things do and what their audio sounds like. So anyways, today we're going to be talking all about these leaks that have come out. So anyways, let's of course, get started. What's up, Honors? I'm Alex, as always, and welcome back to the channel. So pretty much like I said in the intro, the other day we got a full look at what is pretty much their entire in-store lineup for 2025 from Spirit. Overall, there's just so many different photos going around, and we pretty much know all these animatronics, what exactly they're going to look like, and some of them even what their animation is going to be. And honestly, from all these leaks that we have seen so far, I've got to say that this year looks like it might be my favorite year in a while from Spirit, because of course all these animatronics just look so cool, and there's not really any that look like they're that bad to me yet. Obviously, hearing their audio and seeing their animation might change some of those ideas for me, but at the moment their lineup this year looks insane. So with that said, I think that's enough talking for the intro. Let's of course get into checking out each of these animatronics that we have seen photos of. Starting off of course with this one, which I'm really excited for. This guy's of course the new Jack the Reaper. So for the new Jack the Reaper here, we got a couple of different views of him here. Let's just start off with the box right here, which overall you can tell already that this guy looks like such an awesome animatronic. Pretty much what he is the upper half is what we see in the Spirit Halloween logo, where we got Jack the Reaper, we got his head, his hands, and then his just upper body right there. And then we also have the bottom half at the bottom right there, which is very interesting to see, where pretty much it's just kind of like a tail that comes out, and then he's got the black stuff just all over to kind of cover the base down there, it seems. And overall, look at this other photo too right here of where he's going to be in the ISC. It definitely looks like this guy's a monster of an animatronic too. I wouldn't be surprised if he is 8 feet tall. It definitely looks like he could be. Overall, it's just so awesome, and I love the look of him too. We also of course do know the animation on this guy, because if you look at the bottom right there, there's a sticker that was the exact same sticker we saw for the Nibbles guy last year, where of course it says about how it has the motion tracking technology, so you can move anywhere in front of this guy and then he'll just look directly at you, which is really creepy. And honestly, I don't mind that animation for him. I would have loved to see a jump scare, but still, this is going to be pretty good. So overall, this guy I'm really excited for, and honestly, the only thing that could ruin him at this point is just the audio on him. If they did go with some sort of talking one, I am really curious to hear what Jack the Reaper's voice sounds like, but if they go with really cheesy lines or something, that could really ruin this prop. So overall, this guy right here looks really awesome, and honestly, he might even be one that I would consider getting for this year. And carrying on, let's talk about this animatronic right here, which looks really interesting. This is, of course, the new Trixie, which this one's a cool one. It's kind of like this trick-or-treater girl. That's probably where they got the name Trixie from. And overall, I'm loving a lot of stuff with this animatronic. Overall, the look of it looks pretty good. I like that face design. It looks really creepy. And then another thing too is it looks like this thing has the potential to have some really cool animation. Of course, with that mask right there, might have a cool jump scare where, of course, that flips up. And, of course, the knife right there, people are speculating that she may pop it out of the bag, which would also be an awesome jump scare. Honestly, one thing I will say, though, is I think this one is definitely one that could utilize some gore. It seems like Spirit just doesn't really do gore with their animatronics anymore, which really sucks to see, and I think this one could have really benefited from that. But overall, this one is still a creepy one, and honestly, another one that I might potentially get this year. I don't know, there's a lot of cool ones. I'll have to see what I get because of just how many Halloween animatronics there are across so many different stores, but overall this one right here looks pretty good, and hopefully it has good animation. And carrying on to the next one right here, we got Trick or Treat Pete, which this guy's an interesting one. And overall for this guy so far, I don't really know how to feel about him. I feel like he's just gonna be more all-right animatronic for me this year. But overall, he looks like he has some interesting features going on. Of course, look at the photo right there. You'll see that it looks like he has some sort of animation where he dispenses candy out of his mouth, which is kind of interesting, and I'm curious what exactly that looks like when it's working, and like how that animation even works. That kind of looks interesting. And then another interesting thing is look at the bottom corner of the photo there. You'll see it says Bluetooth for this guy, which is an interesting choice. I don't know why they would choose this guy to have Bluetooth. I guess he's more of a one to like give out candy, and I guess you can probably like talk to trick-or-treaters with them. It seems like the Bluetooth is really only an audio feature, so it's probably just to control his voice in and just audio stuff. So overall, that's interesting, and I'm curious to see how that Bluetooth feature, how you'd use it with him. And then overall, for just the look of this guy, he looks decent. I think the face looks all right, and then overall, his clothing is very colorful, a lot of different colors going on. I think it will look nicer with a different color scheme, but for what it is, it's alright. So overall, he's a decent one, and with him being a smaller one, I assume he's probably going to be a cheaper one too, so it might be another more budget animatronic if people want something cheaper, but overall, he looks like an alright animatronic, and yeah, I'm really curious to see how you'd use the Bluetooth with this guy. And carrying on, next up here, we've got another clown guy. This guy right here is, of course, Bullseye. And overall for Bullseye right here, I'll have to say I do really like this animatronic. I like just sort of the look of him. It looks really cool, and honestly, this guy is one that maybe I'd potentially get to this year. I really am just a big fan of the look of this guy. I love that face design they went with. It looks really nice. The target looks good. Hopefully, it's not just a cardboard cutout. Hopefully, it's actual, like, plastic or metal or something, but overall, it just, yeah, looks like such an awesome clown. And overall for this guy, we can also see what his animation it's going to be. It looks like it's going to have a head spin animation, which is going to be cool. Overall, I wish it was a head pop out animation like I originally thought, but still the head spinning around, I don't mind that. It's going to be a cool animatronic either way. Now, the one thing for this guy too is I really hope they don't ruin it with the audio. I assume either they're going to go two ways. Either they're going to have just a laugh-in audio, which depending on which laugh-in audio they use, it could be good, could be bad, or they're going to go with some cheesy phrases, but I really hope whatever they do, they have some good audio for this guy, because if it's bad, it'd probably ruin this guy for me. But either ways, Bullseye right here, he's an awesome clown animatronic, and maybe will be my favorite clown animatronic this year. I guess we'll have to see. Alright, carrying on, we've got one right here that I'm not the biggest fan of. This is, of course, the doll from Squid Game, which overall, I did see the show, and it was really good, and honestly, I don't mind seeing an animatronic like this, but to have it in store at Spirit Halloween, I don't know, it just doesn't really seem to fit the Halloween vibe that much. I feel like instead of getting this should have been the year that we got some FNAF animatronics, because overall, it's been such a long time since we've seen them, and I think this year would have been the perfect year to have them sold. But overall, for what this animatronic is right here, it does look decent as a pretty good replica from the show. Overall, I'm very curious on animation for this thing right here, because honestly, it could only really have head animation, so I'm not really sure what they would do with that. It would be cool to see motion tracking, but even if it doesn't, this thing could still look decent as just a big prop. It also does say in the photo right here in the bottom left there that does play Squid Game audio in English and Korean, which hopefully in stores they don't have this on full volume, because I would get so tired of hearing this constantly go off. But anyways, for what it is, it's a decent animatronic, and I'm sure quite a few people enjoy it, but still, I don't know, it doesn't really seem right to have this as a Halloween animatronic in stores. I think it would have been better as just an online release. And carrying on, next up here we got the Crypt Countess, which this is the one from the other day, which I didn't really remember the name on, but overall this animatronic right here looks like an awesome one. Now I do still really want to know animation on this. I do hope it's a jump scare, I doubt it, but just look at the look of this thing, I do really like how it looks. I love that face up there. It looks really creepy and sort of menacing. And then that white hair there sort of adds that ghostly vibe to her. Then overall, the clothing looks pretty decent. It's pretty much just black with creepy cloth over, but I don't mind it. It does look decent. And then, of course, she has her hands coming out, which that's the part that I really hope it is jump scare. Like, maybe she'll lunge at you or something. I think that would be cool, but honestly, I doubt it would have something like that. But overall, I do like the look that they went for with this animatronic. It looks really nice, and honestly, this might be another one that maybe I'd have to consider getting. It looks like it's a pretty big animatronic too. Probably 7, maybe even 8 foot on this thing. So overall, just such a cool animatronic. Another one that's probably my favorite this year. And carrying on, we've got the new Terrifier animatronic this year, which is, of course, Art the Clown, but this time in his Santa suit. Which this guy, I would have liked to see him as an exclusive for their Christmas store if they're doing it again, but still to see this guy in store in their Halloween stores, it's gonna be really cool to see. Now this guy, I do really appreciate how they actually added gore to this guy, because of course the art they called last year is something that you'd have to DIY yourself, but I do appreciate that the one this year, they of course are already adding that on for you, which is really awesome. Of course, it has blood just like all over the beard there, on the Santa suit, on his gloves, his axe right there. So awesome. So overall, that's awesome. And when we heard that we were gonna Santa Art the Clown this year, I was very curious if it was just gonna be a costume add-on, or if it was gonna be a completely separate prop itself. And honestly, to see it as a completely separate prop, I think that's pretty cool. Then of course in the bottom corner we can see that one of this guy's features for some reason again is removable sunglasses. I don't know why Spirit decides to add that, because is that really the thing that's going to sell this prop to someone that has removable sunglasses? Kind of stupid, but it does also say that it plays audio from Terrifier 3, which is really awesome. So overall, this guy right here, he's an awesome one, and I can't wait to see just what his animation is too. I assume it's the same as the last Art the Clown, but if they change up a bit, I wouldn't mind that either. Alright, and carrying on, next up here, we've got Backbend Bonnie, which this one I'm really excited for because it might be a reskin of the Broken Spine Girl. So overall, I'm really excited. The Broken Spine Girl is probably my favorite older tech animatronic animatronic, or at least one of them. I really love the animation. It's really creepy. And if this one has that similar animation where, of course, her back bends back all the way for her head to look at you and everything, that'd be really creepy. And then overall, the look of this animatronic too looks pretty cool. I like kind of that red and black vibe they're going with. It's a little bit different, but it does work pretty well. Then that face right there is really creepy. I love how the mouth is just wide open like that. It looks awesome. It's got those like white eyes, like she's kind of possessed and everything. And overall, it looks like there's some scratches on her face too. Just such a creepy look for the face. I love that design they went with. And then yeah, that animation, like I mentioned, it does seem like she will have some animation where she bends her back a bit. So hopefully it is a reskin of the Broken Spine Girl. That'd be really awesome and might sell this animatronic for me. But overall, this one I'm really excited for, and hopefully it has good animation too. I assume it's probably just gonna be some screaming animation with their mouth open like that, but honestly, who knows. Alright, and carrying on right here, we've got one which we've kind of already knew about from those techie prototype things that came out a while ago, but this one right here is of course the Twisted Grandma. And yeah, the look on this one is decent. It is kind of interesting that they went that green face and everything. I don't know why they made that decision. It's a little bit strange, but honestly, I don't mind it too much. It does still look alright. Then overall, for clothing on this, it does look pretty good. Of course, she's got just grandma hair up there, and then this just kind of like pink dress looking thing on her. So overall, definitely looks like an old person. So I guess they did kind of accomplish the vibe they're going for. And then for animation on this, it's pretty much what we already know. Of course, in the bottom corner right there, you can see the head and torso spins 180 degrees. So what I assume will happen is this thing will be facing its back to you. Then of course, her body might turn around, and then her head, or some combination like that. And then, of course, it'll kind of be like a jump scare, I hope, a really fast animation. I would love to see something like that. That'd be really cool. Now, one thing I will say with this is they are going with that puppet jaw, which, honestly, I don't like that too often. It just kind of cheapens the look of an animatronic, especially one like this, which could be really cool if it didn't have something like that, but overall, still, I do like the look of this. It looks decent. I don't think it would be one that I personally would get this year unless I could find it for 50% off, but overall, for what it is, it's a decent one. I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this one this year. And carrying on, we're getting close to the end, but I still got a couple of photos to show you. Starting off, of course, right here with the Sinister Strawman. And overall, he is just another Mr. Dark reskin, which I would really like to see him start using some sort of different animation with the scissor lift and everything, but still, I don't mind seeing another Mr. Dark guy. These guys have some amazing jump scares, and this guy looks like he's going to be a cool one. Of course, for him, it looks interesting, the vibe they're going for. Of course, his clothing, it's sort of this reddish brown vibe, which overall does look alright, and I'm interested in why they went with that instead of a more brown look, but the red does just add some kind of like pop of color to it. Then of course the head on this guy, of course, it looks like it might just be that typical scarecrow look where he's got the like straw hair hanging down, he's got his hat up there, but overall for what this is, it looks like it's going to be another great reskin of the Mr. Dark type animatronic, and honestly, this guy, hopefully they've improved the mechanism even more to make it even better, because yeah, this guy looks like he has potential to be another cool jump scare. And next up here, we got a photo of the Lantern Keeper, which isn't the greatest, but still it is interesting to see. I am honestly loving the look of this guy so far. It's basically just this big figure which has the pumpkin head up there and is also holding a lantern. And honestly, I love that look of him right here. It's more of a unique one. We've never really seen a pumpkin man like this, I don't think, so it is more of a unique one too. And I don't think we know animation on this yet, but just from the looks of it, I assume it's probably only side to side. I don't think he's gonna have anything too special, but still, this guy, I do like that look of him, and hopefully he does have some better animation, but honestly, I don't really have too high hopes for that. And carrying on, next up here, we got Fire Demon, which this guy right here, he looks like an insane animatronic. This guy, I'm gonna say it, he is the best demon prop we've ever gotten. There's never been anything as good of this. I really do appreciate how they went with more of this black vibe with him, because typically they'll go with that red look, which definitely cheapens the animatronic, but this one, it just really looks so much more of that realistic vibe instead of just a Halloween prop. Overall, I love that fiery look of him. I really hope they have some sort of fire lighting effect in him to make it look like real fire. That'd be a disappointment if they didn't add that, but from the photos, it does look like they do have that included. And I believe animation for this guy is going to sort of be where he's got his arms that are going to be covering his face and he's going to open up to reveal himself. I think that's kind of what they're going for, which is overall pretty cool and might even be sort of like a jump scare kind of, which would be awesome. And yeah, this guy really seems like a big one too, probably around 7 foot, and he is also outdoor rated, which is really awesome. So overall, this guy right here, an awesome one, and another one of my favorites for this year. Not sure it would be one that I would get, but still a really cool one. And carrying on, right here's the final photo I have for you, which honestly, I might even have another video coming out tomorrow if a lot more stuff gets released today, but overall, this guy right here is, of course, the new monkey business animatronic, and this guy is a interesting looking one. Of course, it's this just big black and white clown guy right here that's holding this box, which is kind of like a present, and apparently inside that box there's some sort of monkey character that pops out, which is really cool, and always love a good jump scare, so this one might be one that I have to get this year. I don't know. Overall, the look of this guy, he is pretty cool. They didn't do anything too crazy with him, but the black and white design does look pretty cool. I do like that face they did for him. And then yeah, it's cool always holding the box right there too, and I love that jump scare idea of how it's like a monkey type character that pops out. And overall, I can't wait to see a video of this, see what that animation really looks like, and also just hear the audio on this guy because I really hope he has some good audio. So overall, monkey business here, another pretty cool looking one. And overall, with that said, everyone, a bit of a longer video, but hopefully you did enjoy. That, of course, is pretty much every single animatronic that Spirit is going to be selling in stores this year, which is really awesome. And overall, yeah, it looks like they have an awesome lineup for this year. There's so many here that I might have to consider buying. I'm gonna have to wait to see animation and just audio on these things, but overall, this year looks like it's gonna have a lot of potential. So overall, I'll probably be getting an animatronic or two from Spirit. And anyways, tell me down below your thoughts on this and what animatronics you want to get this year. And anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.